Hey, your shininess caught my attention.
My what?
You're very shiny. Just
I'm shiny?
yeah, just like
Like oily?
good. No, it's like good energy.
Oh, thank
Yes.
you.
Where from? German? Are you European originally? You look very European-like.
I'm
Okay. I just been reading it. Where do you live? Which city?
I live at
You must know the Burning Man.
Burning Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know of it. I've never been.
I just been there.
Oh, really?
It's
How was
crazy.
it?
It's amazing. You must go. It's so close. Like I made all this way. I came from.
Where are you from? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good tonality, nice loud volume, clearly assertive, no hesitation. So overall, he's doing really well. Got a good open with, it looks like, I mean, hard to see the face, but it looks like a pretty attractive girl. She's responding well, she's participating in the conversation, it's friendly back and forth. So that's all pretty good. Okay, from the very start of the interaction, I want you to think, how does this get me to a close? I want you to have a vision in your head of you and this girl having sex somewhere, right? And think about some path that's getting you there, right? Understand that every single interaction, it's great if the conversation lasts. It's great if as like ongoing, ongoing interaction. But it's all pointless if it doesn't lead somewhere, all right? So have in your mind this idea that if it's going well, it should be moving forward. If it's not going well, you need to do what you need to get it on track and going well again. And then once it's going well, move it forward. But it's all about escalation. It's all about getting her to comply to things, getting her to buy into things, and getting her to like go places with you, getting her to move the interaction forward. Right now, this is good, but it's sort of like it's not getting necessarily better, right? It was, what are we in? We're about 49 seconds in. I would say it was as good in 20 seconds as it is in 49 seconds, which is a little nitpicky, right? I mean, it's not like 49 seconds is not that long of a time. But the point is, it was so good 20 seconds in, and now you've kind of like wasted 30 seconds, right? And it's kind of plateaued, and she's starting to think, oh, is this going anywhere? What does he want, et cetera. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So things you could be doing, making it more personal, showing intent would be something you could do. Try it in a little way, right? You don't need to show intent in a big way, right? Little tiny things you do to show intent are enough, and you're going to find out from her reaction where you're at. If you do something like, oh, you know what? I just noticed you're actually quite cute. Right? Just a little thing like that. And by the way, that's not giving too much power away. A lot of guys are like, oh, I can't show intent, it gives my power away. It's not like, oh my God, you're amazing, I'd do anything for you. It's like, you know what, I just noticed you're actually quite cute. Right? You're evaluating, you're from a position of like higher value, a frame of you being the judger and the decider, but you are still showing intent.
Yeah,
right?
I think that like in this moment she also didn't earn it yet,
Mm-hmm.
in some sense. You know, like maybe a little bit later, I don't remember. It was still like kind of seeing what's up with her.
Sure. I understand what you're saying there, and I agree with it to a point that she should earn it. It's okay to give a little bit at the start, unearned, just to get things moving. Yeah. If you give a little bit of a compliment and you can tell like it turns her off or it like she seems to get too high and mighty because of it, then cut it. And then in that case you can either give something negative or you can give intent in a negative, right? For example, if you said to someone, I don't think we're going to get along, right? That's a classic pickup line, but I don't think we're going to get along. That's showing intent also, right? That's actually like showing more interest than just having bland conversation because it's saying that the idea of you and her getting along means something, right? But the point is it needs to have something beneath just the conversation. But as of right now, it looks good. You're in a totally winnable situation, but it looks like as of, like I said, the last maybe 30 seconds has kind of been level. Over the last like 10 seconds, she's starting to get a little distracted. Yeah. Okay, so be wary of that.
A lot of people tell me I look Swedish or something.
Yeah, Elskling. Yes, you do.
I don't know.
Elskling.
Swedish or where else they you tell me I'm from Nebraska or Wisconsin?
The thing is like, this is like a realer.
Huh?
The color is real.
My hair color?
No, it's not like your eyebrows, so.
My hair color is really dark.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so thing is like, we don't have stuff like this, you know?
Lots of like what?
Like this color of hair. We don't have it ever.
Is it natural?
So again, it's good in the sense that she's intrigued by the conversation, right? Because this conversation is about her, so she's intrigued by that. but she's not fully focused on you, right? She's like distracted, she's all over the place, she goes and throws her coffee away, that kind of stuff. I thought for a second she was gonna leave, right? I think you thought that too, like, oh shit, I'm gonna lose her, and then you didn't. You need to do something to snap her attention, right? Because right now, she's enjoying the conversation, that she thinks it's pleasant, there's nothing negative here, but there's no deep, strong commitment, right? She's not really engaged, she's not really hooked in. So what I would encourage you to do in this circumstance is take a little bit more of a risk, okay? Instead of having this conversation that's like, kind of like pleasantly, platonically good and nice, do something to make her either love or hate you. And if every now and again she hates you, that's fine, because the ones that love you are gonna be worth it, right? You need to be, when you look at the guys that are really, really good at game, they are always dictating what's going on in the interaction, right? It's not that every girl likes them, because that's not necessarily the case, but they are in charge of what's going on. They're the one who is the focus, the center of attention, they're the one making things happen, and the girl's reacting to them. Here, the girl's like being amused by you, but she's not really reacting to you.
Or is it natural or is it not natural?
I say we don't have.
Huh?
We don't have, I say. We don't have stuff like this.
Oh, blonde
So,
hair.
yeah, like really blonde like this. So it's very attention catching
Oh,
for
well,
me.
thank you. It's
For
fake.
people like me.
It's not real.
Like everything in America.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
cool. What do you do right now?
So right there's all these opportunities here that you can make fun of her a little bit, right? And that's okay, right? It's even not just okay, it's good, right? When you get these opportunities, especially this girl's, obviously, at least, again, can't tell the face, but from the body and the attitude, seems like a hot girl, right? Definitely seems to, have her have her self-perception together, so to speak. You need to do something to get through that like platonic sort of like blasé, all right? What you'll notice, and this girl's not like so stunning that like you'd necessarily think she's always gonna do this, but you'll notice the hotter the girl gets, a lot of times what will happen is they won't be dismissive of you or mean to you or anything anymore. They'll just give you what I call the blasé. They'll just kind of like interact with you in this like sort of like platonic light way where they're having a conversation, it's pleasant, but they just don't let you underneath their skin, right? They just don't get affected by you and they don't chase you. And that's kind of what it looks like here. She's like, oh, this is a fun conversation, whatever, I'm having a good time. But she's still not like reacting to you, she's still not committing to you, right? So you have to do something. And when she gives you this stuff like, oh, my hair is fake or whatever, it's a great opportunity to, not even in a mean way, right? Just tease her a little bit about it. Be like, oh, I thought you were special, but I'm not so sure now, right? And you can, it's clearly a tongue-in-cheek, it's clearly a joke, but you're just showing you're willing to break rapport. You're showing you're willing to be a little bit mean, okay? Think of it this way. If you're nice all the time to everybody, then you being nice is meaningless. Does that make sense? Because it's how you treat everybody. But if you're mean every once in a while, if you show people you're capable of being mean, you're willing to be mean, then when you're nice, it actually means something, it actually has value, right? So you need to have that negative pole so that the positive pole has meaning. Otherwise, if it's positive all the time, who cares?
Huh?
Wait, what's your name?
I was supposed to go to the pool today, but I didn't. And then I'm waiting for my friend over there, so I'm just walking around.
Okay, what's your name? Yeah, nice to meet you.
It's me.
Yes. It is. So like you just wait for a friend.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hang out. So okay, he has the interaction going. It's fairly platonic and pleasant. It's friendly, whatever. And then all of a sudden, oh, I'm meeting my friend later. Okay, let's hang out. You tried to go like 0 to 60 like instantly. It's like, right? That's not gonna work often, right? You took a set that has no intent, and you did show intent. You did move it forward, so that was what was missing. But what you did is you did it all at once. It's like the old cartoons where like the anvil just drops out of the sky, just completely unannounced. Your close was like the anvil dropping out of the sky. Just suddenly here's a close, right? Instead of trying for the whole close at once, what I want to encourage you to do, and this is for everybody, I want to encourage you to try and build the close, okay? So instead of like, oh, let's hang out, right? Instead, come up with a premise, a reason why, and sort of lead to the close, right? It's going to do two things. Number one, if the answer is no, you're going to find out that the answer is no without actually asking. So it's going to make things a lot smoother. But when the answer is yes, you're going to get there almost as fast and you're going to get there a lot smoother. So instead of like, hey, let's hang out sometime, be like, oh, that's interesting. You know what? You seem like you could be, I don't know, you're like little ditzy, but like you have a bit of a smart vibe too, or you at least average intelligence, right? Because I know like smart people, like usually the reason I ask, like I think like smarter people tend to go for like more tea over coffee or maybe like smoothies. But I'm just curious about you. What's your like, what do you do? Right? Oh, okay, cool. She's like, oh, I love coffee. You know what? Me too. I actually haven't had my coffee today. You have like 5 minutes, right? Before you're, okay, cool. Let's go grab a coffee real fast. But by leading up to that and leading into it gradually, you're gonna get a few yeses before you get there, which is gonna make her say more likely yes to the date, right, or the instant date. Also, if it's gonna be a no, it's not gonna be no, I don't like you that you're gonna hear, or no, I don't wanna hang out with you. You'll be like, oh, you know what, I'm not really, you know. She'll be like, oh, I'm really busy right now. I'll be like, oh, sweetie, I didn't ask you for coffee, just asked you if you like coffee. You're so presumptuous. God, you move so fast, right? But you didn't actually ask it, so you didn't actually set yourself up for a no, okay? So this is essentially a version of what I call the soft close, right? So you wanna sort of hint at the close a little bit before closing. Also, just timing-wise, you wanna probably show a little bit of intent and have a little bit of back and forth before just dropping the close in. So A, you drop the close in out of nowhere, and B, you drop the close in super suddenly. So either have a little more intent and back and forth first, or soft close, or better yet, both. And you're getting a much higher percentage on the close. My guess, and again, I'm sometimes wrong on these things, but usually not. My guess here is she's gonna be like, oh, well, I'm busy seeing my friend, something like that. It could be, like I'd say maybe, she seems friendly, so I'm gonna give it like a 30% that she'll be like, okay, sure, maybe, right? But I think that's actually generous. I think most likely she's gonna be like hesitant or be like, no, I'm really meeting my friend or something like that.
Think strongly. Think. I know it's different. I know I'm short. I know. Yes. You know, there's so many, like all these models, they're everywhere. So disgusting. Like basically half of this. You see these like little stores here. Sellers.
Okay, so now it's like on some like weird topic of you qualifying yourself on like height and nationality. So do you want to hang out? And she just like no answer, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she was like just switching subjects.
Right. So just ignored it.
I want like a lot of it, but I can't afford it.
Yeah.
So in this case, you really again need to pierce that shield. So find something to make fun of. The push-pull, right? You say something. If it's positive, you follow it up with a negative. Negative, you follow it up with a positive. But you're putting something out there, all right? You could totally do that with this girl, with anything. Yeah. Be like, you're so tall, it must have been very difficult growing up for you. It must be very hard to find a boyfriend being as tall as you are. Whatever it is, right? Or, I mean, you're very blonde. I mean, I bet people think you're stupid very often. That's tough because you're clearly not that stupid. I mean, you're like average, right? to maybe smart. I don't know. I just met you. All right. But it's very easy to throw in some of these things that they're not really like insults, they're not really compliments. But the point is it triggers something in her. It makes her wonder. It makes her think, oh, am I being perceived this way? It puts her in her head a little bit, right? Because right now, she's just being like sort of pleasantly amused. She's like, oh, look, another guy likes me. This is kind of fun as I like float through my life, etc. Right? I guess I could talk a little bit more about like the hot girl blasé a little bit. There's this phrase that we had is like, you guys know what like the magic school bus is? Like those of you who are like, the American contingent will know it. Europeans, I don't think maybe as much. The magic school bus is this like children's storybooks that we like grow up with. It's like these kids that are riding the school bus, and it's like the magic school bus goes inside the human body. The magic school bus goes to Mars. So it's this idea that you're like in this school bus and you're traveling all these like the craziest adventures you've ever seen in your entire life, and you get to just be exposed to the wonders of the world, and you're just in this like totally safe place that nothing bad's gonna happen to you, all right? In a way, that's kind of like the world of a really hot girl. They're like riding the magic school bus, and some guy's like, would you like some golden jewelry? Hi, would you like the most expensive meal in the world? Hi, would you like a private jet to like, you know, Dubai, whatever it is. And that's all great, but they're kind of like, they're used to a bunch of positivity being thrown at them. It doesn't really faze them. It doesn't really hit their radar. But when you do something that actually like triggers insecurity in them or makes them question themselves or just strikes a really strong emotion in them, that's when you're gonna have a moment where like they'll be real with you and you can start setting yourself apart. Yeah.
Would you say there's like a general like topic that hits the most emotion? I mean,
Themselves.
Right. Yeah.
Themselves.
Like, would you say like their personality, their
You know, so there's something very interesting about that question, right? Because there's a lot of people that ask that question, but you asked it in a very particular way, which tells me you're either very, very smart or very, very strange, and I can't quite tell.
I think both.
Yeah? What I did basically is an example of something you could say to a girl. Does that make sense? And so your reaction is like, oh, I think both, I'm not sure, right? You're automatically justifying yourself.
Yeah.
That's what you could do.
Wait, can you do it?
Mind fuck.
Right, but you could take anything and everything. Like, oh, that's the funniest look that you just made. That's so like, it's funny. Like my friend has a dog that makes that exact same look when it gets angry. It's so cute. Anyway, it works on you though, because you have that very like, you have like the sort of like resting bitch face. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in like the kind of like cool, like collected way. But then when you do the like little poodle look, it's very endearing. I like it. Whatever. I don't know. I just came up with that off the top of my head. And the point is that necessarily the best thing I've ever said? Is that amazing game? No. But will it get a reaction? Does that make her have to like compute it in some way and like put her inside her head? Absolutely. Okay, and that's the goal. The goal isn't to say the most brilliant thing. The goal is to get through that blasé and get her like reacting to you on a human to human level. Yeah.
I have a question. Like, what if you're, using an insult, like, a funny insult, but you deliver it poorly or it comes off wrong, and there's that, retaliation, and then what do you do? Blow the set.
Ideally, if you're smart and calibrated as you're saying it and you see the reaction coming, then you undo it as you see it. So be like, my friend, like the dog has, no, I'm not saying you look like a dog at all. What I'm saying is the dog's very adorable and you are also, absolutely quite adorable yourself.
You adjust as it's in the moment.
Yeah, because you notice that moment, she's like, right? Yeah. You notice like the danger flash in the eyes. You're like, no. I know what you're thinking. No. Don't be insecure. I'm not saying you look like a dog, right? And by the way, don't be insecure is still getting it across, but I think you're actually quite cute, obviously. But The point of all this though, the positives and the negatives, it's all from the frame that I'm the one that's deciding as opposed to her being the one that's deciding, right? It's all from the frame of I'm on the pedestal and she can be part of my world or not. It's not can I be a part of her world. So that's an important thing in getting all these frames across.
I know. So like, do you like, well, it's a weird question, okay? Do you like fruits?
Do you like what?
Do you like fruits, like
Fruit? Yeah.
do you like drinking like smoothies and stuff?
Yeah. I juice at my house.
So now this seems like the soft close, kind of, which is good, except at this point, like it's kind of like far gone. So now you really need to get her attention back before you're in any shape to be closing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What do you put in it?
I put ginger, oranges,
Oh.
apples, kale, beets.
Are you even like enjoying this conversation at this point? You're like looking away and it's like she is disengaged, you're disengaged.
Carrots.
My heart beats faster right now. Nice, very
That's
nice.
my recipe.
So you're really into nutrition.
Not really into it, but
You put kale.
I think it's very important.
You put kale and ginger in your fucking
I love
smoothie.
ginger.
Like who will put it? Only people that really care about themselves and their body. You know? That's cool. Yeah, I also like used to make it all the time. It's really hard in America though. Like it's really hard to find tahini. Do you know what is it? Tahini?
So what?
Tahini. It's like a made from sesame seeds. Yeah. What do you?
Do you know any of the streets around here?
Yes.
Yeah, she is staying. She's kind of like disengaged. I think she's like waiting for someone though, right? She's waiting for a friend or going to meet her friend or whatever. So she's like, she kind of doesn't have anything specifically better to do for a few minutes. But the funny thing about this is as much as this isn't going the best, this is still a totally workable interaction. You just have to pierce that wall. You have to take a big risk.
Can you tell me which one's the closest one? Western Union?
Right? Again, there's all kinds of opportunities to make fun of her all over the place. Can you tell me which one's the closest? Oh, girl, look at you. You're so lost. You need some direction in your life. You look so together. Now I just realized you're just a lost little puppy. So sad, right? I'm just kidding though. That's cute. Anyway, okay, so what are you doing? And you take the phone assertively, be like, oh, you know what you have to do? Actually, is this your first time in Vegas? Like, take charge, take the lead, be assertive in the interaction, etc. Right? And take advantage of these opportunities. There's so many chances. You can make fun of somebody for anything.
Do you think it was because you lacked a sense of direction for the interaction?
Yeah, but I think that I was like more thinking about like logistics, like what is happening with her right now. Like, is she going somewhere? Is she like staying here?
So let me give you guys kind of this is gonna be like a off the top of my head sort of procedure, but a little quick procedure for like how to run a set. All right. So first, go in, get her attention. You have to have her attention. So right now, like at the start, you had her attention. That was good. Right now, you kind of don't have her attention, right? So the first step is get her attention back. All right, but that's the first step in any situation. Get her attention. Next step is get her reacting to you. Okay, so get her attention, get her reacting to you. Okay. Third step would be like get her to invest or commit in some way. If those things are happening, that's when you want to be trying to escalate and move it forward. But don't worry about logistics are very important. But don't worry about logistics until she likes you a little bit, right? First and foremost is go in, amuse yourself, dominate the interaction, have her like you, and then only once there are signs that she likes you, there are signs it's going well, then think logistics, what do I do? If you went thinking logistics from the get-go, first of all, you're clouding your mind with all this other stuff, but also it's gonna make you outcome dependent, right? It's actually gonna make you like a little bit needy, a little bit try hard, et cetera, et cetera. Think first, how do I make this epic? How do I make this super fun? And then only once it's clearly fun, which can happen very quickly. That can happen in 5 seconds, right? But once it's clearly a good interaction, that's when you start working logistics. It's like, there's the analogy that the game is like a first-person shooter video game, right? You have like the battle going on around you, and then you have like the map in the top corner, right? And you need to look at the map. You need to make sure you're going in the right direction for the mission. But mostly you have to pay attention to what's going around you or you don't get dead, right? If you're spending the whole time looking at the map in the top corner, you're not gonna be very good, right? That's looking logistics. Right? You want to glance at it every now and again, make sure you're managing it, but mostly be focused on the moment.
Where would you screen? Is that part of logistics? Once it's fun, you start screening or before?
Yeah, well, you start finding out / screening, combination of the two. So it depends how you're defining screening, how I'd answer that question.
Logistics is like a general term too, so screening is a part of that?
Well, because I think of screening for a lot of different things. That's why, like, because I screen like, for example, if I say like, what are you doing right this second? That's not necessarily screening anything. It's just asking and finding out something, right? But if I said like, if I find out she has friends, and I'm like, wait, these friends, do you know them well? Have you known them for a really long time, or are they people you just met? That's screening. That's like actively trying to find out a specific thing so that I can make a specific thing happen. Make sense? So that's where the distinction I draw. But finding out the logistics and finding out what your situation is and what you're working with, that happens very quickly. As soon as I think the girl likes me, I'm either finding that out or maybe even better yet, testing it by trying little soft closes. Yeah, and very, very quickly. Like a lot of my good day game sets, I'm moving the girl within 30 seconds or a minute. So it happens very, very, very quickly. And sometimes not. Sometimes I stay and talk for like 5 minutes, but the majority, it's a minute or so, because you can find out pretty quickly, yeah.
So I think I saw 4 steps. It was get her attention, get her reacting, and to invest, and then pull.
And then pull. And then like escalate it in some way? Something like that, yeah. And escalate can be, by the way, escalation can be a lot of different things. Escalation can be physical, and especially at night, you'll do a lot of physical escalation. Escalation can be logistical, moving them around. In the daytime, you'll do a lot of logistical escalation very early on. And then escalation can be verbal, right? And there's 2 ways to escalate verbally. One is the topic of the conversation, making it more intimate, more sexual. The second is making the relationship between you and her more intimate. So if you start talking about I'm this, I'm that, and then pretty soon you're like, you know what, we are gonna get along, we are this. When you start using that word we, that's a big escalation as well. Right? But the point is, you wanna be moving things forward. Right? If you don't move things forward, there's no chance of it working. So I'm glad that you took that platonic and started to move things forward. It's just like try not to go 0 to 60, try and make it a process.
What is Western Union?
The bank.
It's a bank, right?
Ish.
Just
It's
look
money
at the
transfer.
map. Look at the map itself.
I don't know how to.
Why don't you look at the map?
I don't
Okay,
know.
listen. You're here, so just go to the closest one.
Which one is that?
It's up the strip.
How far is it?
So now it's like you're just on her agenda. You're her like helper on her agenda, right? Tease her, make fun of her. Or at the very least, like at this point be like, actually, you know what? Come with me, let's walk somewhere. and just like pull her on whatever premise. But the point is, like, this is not a good frame. Like, who's leading here, her or you? Right, she's leading.
It's close.
How far? Which one is it? Can you click on it?
Look. We're here. Looks like 5 minutes, 10 minutes walk. You go to the bank right now? Jenna, right?
How
Jenna.
did I get that one?
It's this way. Like you need to go outside from the mall and then.
That actually might have worked about 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Wow. At this point, it's like really tough because she's like blatantly like not. She's ignored a bunch of threads. Earlier on, that might actually worked.
Yes, it's really not cool. It's not cool like this right now. Just leaving me like this, like a dog, talking to myself. Not cool.
Don't,
ABC.
but don't judge
Jenna.
us. Don't be so hard on yourself.
I'm okay, you know. I know. I'm arguing myself, that's true.
Okay, so now you're actually like playful and getting a reaction, but it's all like self-deprecating. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the set didn't go so amazingly from here.
What I used to say. So like, let's hang out and have a smoothie. And like drink fruits.
You live here?
Yeah, right now, yeah.
I'm looking to live here.
Oh yeah? Why? People that
I ended my life and I can't afford anything anymore and like owe everyone money and like so I just come here and I like turn my phone off and like don't talk to anyone and I'm avoiding what I don't know what to do with my
It's
life
okay.
right now.
It's okay. Come. It's okay. It's fine. I totally understand you. The thing is like usually people that live in Vegas, usually they really hate it for some reason.
Say what?
They really hate it. Usually locals hate Vegas.
How do I press go?
Wow, this is like a really interesting question. I'm not used to iPhones. I'm using Android. Sorry.